Welcome into Pay Dirt Sports. This is Will Dundon here with Nick Truschel and Seth Coggin. We are part of the Six Pack Coverage Network. Guys, what's going on? How's the weekend? Pretty big weekend. Lots of news to kind of break in on. First of all, I guess let's kick it off with this whole Calvin Ridley news that we got. Truschel, you were just talking about it. Kind of give the listeners a little background info. What's happening?
Yeah, so Calvin Ridley has been officially suspended for 1 year by the NFL because he was caught gambling via his mobile phone out of the state of Florida. I didn't see anywhere what app he was using or what was used, but it was confirmed that he did spend some money gambling. They did include, he had some parlays that included the Falcons in them.
You can't include your own team.
Yeah. So that didn't look too great, but so he pretty much missed all of last year, going to miss all of the next year. But a couple of teams that are interested in trading for him are the Patriots and Browns. Likely would not be giving up too much, I'd imagine, because he's going to have to sit out a year. But he joins a list of 4 other players that have been suspended for gambling. Josh Shaw in 2019 was the most recent before Calvin Ridley, but going back to 1983, Art Schlichter. And then 1963, we actually had 2 NFL players get banned. So for some reason in 63, they were hot, ready to go on the books. But Alex Karras and Paul Hornung were
Paul
were
Hornung,
banned.
baby.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a big name.
So Calvin Ridley joins that elite crew of players that have been banned or suspended for gambling. I personally think you got to drop the hammer on him. I mean, to keep the integrity of the game, I think across all sports, athletes should not be able to gamble, especially. Well, I guess we can get into another conversation if it doesn't include their team or if they're not related somehow. But I think it's almost kind of like trading, stock trading, inside
trading, yeah, especially when you're betting on your own team. I do kind of respect him for betting on the Falcons with him not on the field, though. Like the fact that Falcons were that bad
just said
and
he
was still
bet
betting
on
them.
the Falcons. It doesn't necessarily mean that he bet on them to win. So he could have.
Okay.
So I'm assuming it did, or else they would have outright said he bet against the Falcons just because that headline would have been hilarious. So
that would have been so funny. But it's just kind of a silly situation to me. Like, he's doing something. These are some lines that are very hard. They're very easy for me to say as like someone who's not affiliated with the league, someone who's not a coach, a player, an exec or anything. Like, Calvin Ridley is engaging in activity that is completely illegal to me and you, totally not, didn't seem to be an excessive amount.
So $1,500 was the amount.
Yeah, $1,500. Like, you know how many people gamble $1,500 a weekend, like all over the place? So
thousands. Now
you can't bet on your own team, but kicking this guy out for a season is a long time. Like, you have a very limited career in the NFL. Like, a whole season missed is just, I mean, it's extremely valuable. I don't know what the monetary kind of effect this is going to have on him, but I don't know. I just can't do it. Like, if you're in the NFL, if you're a player, make an example out of him. Like, this hasn't come up in a while. It's the first I've heard of a player getting suspended for gambling in a while. I know there's a few players you listed, but it's not very prevalent.
Yeah, not
obviously.
Often.
Just be like, look, he's suspended 4 games. Like, yeah, you can't do that. But it's not like taking him out a whole season. A whole season is a long time. That's probably 10% of your NFL career if you have a 10-year prolonged career. So
I kind of feel that's kind of how I feel. Like, do I really care that Calvin Ridley was betting on games? I mean, I get the point is it's a rule. You can't do it. But yeah, I'm kind of with you, Seth. Like, a whole year. I mean, do something. I mean, fine him as much as you want or something. But to not let the guy play for an entire season, I don't know what is keeping a guy out. I mean, I guess you're making an example. That's you just trying to make sure that no one does this. I guess you're being as kind of harsh as you can. But
4 games is an example. Like,
or
hey,
half a season.
4
games. Go half a season.
Yeah, half a season. Yeah, I mean, that's an example. That's still 4 game checks. Someone said he was scheduled to make about $10 million or something this year, somewhere around that. It's in that ballpark. He's an A receiver. What is he? Probably their wide receiver 1. He's their best receiver.
Their wide receiver room without Calvin Ridley is horrible.
So you take him off half a season, that's still $5 million game checks that he's not cashing. Like, that's still that's still a big punishment. That's still very harsh.
Millions of dollars
for his first minor offense. That's kind of my thing too. It's like,
right.
Had he been told not to gamble before, like that's my thing. And maybe he had. Maybe he had kind of had like a little true slap on the wrist one time or something that we don't know about, which is always possible. But for it to be his first offense that we know about to get a whole season, it's like, dude, like, are any fans outraged? Like, I haven't seen a single person, really being like, this is terrible. Like, this is just beyond humanity.
Yeah, everyone's kind of just laughing about it.
Terrible thing.
Yeah, it's all jokes.
Yeah. And so, it is what it is. He did it. It's his decision. He shouldn't have done it. But, it's $1,500, on a Saturday he wasn't playing football. Like, he's probably just hanging out with his buddies who were gambling and threw some money on something. Like, it's not really that serious in my eyes. So
that's true. And kind of even bouncing off judging the seriousness of this, some recent NFL suspensions that you guys are probably familiar with. So Ray Rice beating his fiance was suspended 2 games. Adrian Peterson, who was convicted of felony child abuse, 6 games. Greg Hardy beating his girlfriend, 10 games, then reduced to 4. Ezekiel Elliott hit a woman, 6 games. But then we have Calvin Ridley, 17 games for using FanDuel, and then Josh Gordon, 6 seasons for smoking weed. So,
Josh Gordon has got a few chances.
I know, but it's just kind of the fact that I'd rather a guy smoke weed than beat the crap out of his fiance.
Absolutely, I would take a stoner 1 billion times out of 1 billion over someone who's hitting a woman. That's just,
Wait, you said Ray Lewis was 2 games?
2 games, bro. That one did cost him his career, though. Like, let's be honest, he didn't.
Yeah, but deservedly. Yeah. I mean,
deservedly. But the NFL's punishment, only 2 games. Like, that's the thing about the Calvin Ridley thing. So you're going to give Calvin Ridley a whole season, but I bet 32 out of 32 teams would take him on their team next year. Like,
because he didn't do anything. Like,
because he's like, oh. It's just
there's not even a real issue there, right? There's no behavioral problems or anything. This sounds like, if the Patriots are really interested in him, I mean, this sounds like the perfect Belichick special. A guy like Calvin Ridley.
He did just leave the Falcons after 5 games, so there's definitely some other stuff going on than just the gambling out there.
I agree with that. I think that's a problem, and I feel like that has to do a lot more with just his relationship with him and the Falcons, probably, though.
Yeah, someone walk me through kind of what happened with him in the season last year? Like, I hadn't really paid much attention to it.
He kind of just quit.
He just left. Yeah, he quit. I had him on my fantasy team, so I can gripe a little bit there. But he just said he was taking a step away from football for mental health reasons. There wasn't anything specific, an event or anything that he named, but just kind of an unfortunate scenario that, I mean, unless you're probably close friends with him, probably never going to find out exactly what happened.
Well, and that's where the question came in. Okay, is this guy really struggling with mental health, or is he basically just giving up because the Falcons suck? Like, you kind of have to look at it from both ways, because you don't know. I mean, that's fine, I guess, if a guy wants to cite mental health as a reason he needs to step away. But I mean, I don't know. No, we don't know enough information about it, because it doesn't look good, right, when the Falcons are totally in the gutter and he might just be tired of going out there and losing every week. Yeah. That on that hand, that's an issue. But I still see, I mean, like I said, Belichick's taken chances on guys like that plenty of times, and it's paid off for him.
Yeah, it is true that headspace, we really don't know kind of the whole story going on there. That's kind of what it feels like to me. Obviously, with a guy not playing a whole season, with not being hurt or nothing, definitely kind of strange there. Wonder where he's at. Hopefully he's all good. It doesn't seem like it's just kind of funny that these two things correlate because I don't know if they necessarily do, but they might. Like him gambling one weekend because he's not playing definitely is kind of strange. Like him literally just deciding not to play, deciding not to be on the team, and then the next weekend he's gambling on football games. Not a good look. The optics are not good for him. But I mean, he didn't beat anybody or do anything super illegal, so he'll be back for sure if he wants to be.
Yeah, he didn't do anything illegal, right?
Yeah, he didn't do anything illegal.
He broke the
rules.
Broke the NFL rules, but it was sports betting is legal in Florida, so it's not like he broke any rules there or broke any laws.
I think the integration of sports and gambling is so curious to me because the leagues simultaneously really embrace it because it increases viewership, it increases interest and intrigue.
It's only good for
it. And the money is good, but then they have to separate it so much from like the player ref aspect of it. You know what I mean? Like they're essentially by saying like, hey, we're partnering with these gambling organizations. Like we are creating partnerships with gambling, like Caesar's Palace or whatever, the official, sports book of the NFL, stuff like that. But then they're very quick to draw the lines of like, but any of our if you're inside the organization, you can't partake at all. You know what I mean? Like if you're outside the NFL, we want you to gamble. But if you're inside these walls, like you can't. But it makes it, it's very tricky when you're simultaneously really promoting something like, hey, look, you can now online sports betting. And then all of a sudden, there's also direct paradigm like, oh, you cannot do that. Like not even in small amounts, not even like that. So, but you could gamble on other sports and stuff probably and be okay. But they also like glorify like Michael Jordan. Like they tell stories all the time.
He's one of the biggest
gamblers he is. Yeah, that's kind of like a legend, a mystique around Michael Jordan. So you're like highlighting this guy for his gambling and kind of just like not praising it, but kind of praising it a little bit, just kind of hyping it up. And then you're going to take stances like, oh, he gambled $1,000. He's out for a season. Like that's, I don't know. It just seems, I don't know who's making the decisions, and it doesn't seem like there's a real consistent, but there's also not really a precedent either. So you kind of got to set the precedent for, people gambling in sports. It's tricky. I wouldn't want to be making those calls, honestly, right now.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. And I think it's just because it's such a slippery slope. If you let one person get away with one thing, and then it could end up all the way to Tim Donaghy point shaving type of stuff. So I think maybe not necessarily he deserved a whole season, but their hands were kind of tied. I feel like the NFL had to make an example out of him. And they, with the increase of gambling and sportsbook betting, and I think that they really need to make an example this time as it's really growing and getting big. So
it's like you come from where we look at it as, I understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. It just really sucks because it makes them look really bad in other facets of suspensions, like we already talked about. Like, I get suspending a guy for a year to basically be like, hey, we really don't want anyone to do this. This is the best way to shut it down. But you just like you hit a few women, you knocked them out. We'll suspend you for a couple games.
Tyreek Hill is still in the league.
People don't care.
Yeah,
like Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt, like no one. They're just back. They're playing.
And I guarantee you, Deshaun Watson's going to be back
at
some point. Yeah. So
that's a really tricky one. That's a tough situation. That Sean thing. It's a mess. And I'm thankful it couldn't happen to a better place. Just the whole case there is strange because it's not really a criminal case at all, but it is like a civil case. So the motivation quite literally is money. Now, I'm not saying that these allegations are all false and everything. Like but it does it raises questions when the only thing that you gain in this would be financial gain. So I don't know. Anyway, he probably won't be playing at Houston anymore, which is very positive for our division. At one time, the Titans are staring down the barrel of Andrew Luck in Indy, Deshaun Watson in Houston, and at one point, a very good Saxonville team. At least the defense was good.
Defense was good.
And now you have nobody in Indy, nobody in Houston, and nobody in Jacksonville. Something flipped, and like the AFC South just got so winnable all the time. But gotta go out and do it again next year. Yeah,
seriously. Let's talk a little college basketball real quick. Big weekend in college basketball.
Yeah,
I'm gonna kick it off real quick. I won't talk too much about it, but Huskers, dare I say, hottest team in college basketball.
America's basketball team right now.
Hot at the right time. Let's go.
I did see on Husker Twitter. I loved this. So Trev Alberts, the Nebraska athletic director, did something similar for Fred Hoiberg, the Nebraska basketball coach, that he did for Scott Frost. Basically, a few weeks ago or a couple weeks ago, comes out with a whole statement basically saying Hoiberg will be back next year, regardless of what goes on the rest of the season, which he did for Frost at the end of the season this past year as well. And Hoiberg comes in, gets a couple ranked wins right off the bat, undefeated, 3-0 on the road. So Husker Twitter's going, man, Scott Frost, if this is any indication, Scott Frost is about to go on the biggest run in Nebraska history.
I'm calling that for Nebraska next year. I'm dead serious. I'm calling a big season for Nebraska.
I mean, dude, we got some transfers coming in.
Yeah, I've watched it happen. Y'all are right on. Sports a lot of times work like a razor blade. Like you're right on the winning side or you're right on kind of the losing side. Nebraska's been right there, and they've just kind of tipped to the losing side. I don't know what it's been the past couple of years, but they just find ways to lose. But I'm telling you, once you flip to winning, you just keep rolling. I think the Huskers. Well, I like that analogy. He's coming.
The schedule is a lot easier for him next year, it looks like. But we'll see. They have to close out, but it's going to be a whole different field, different OCs, different assistant coaches, different quarterback. It'll be totally different. But anyway, I am excited now just to watch the Big Ten tournament, see if they can win a couple games or something. I obviously am not expecting them to run the table all the way, but
pull an Oregon State like they did last year.
Yeah, that's true.
Make it all the way to the Elite Eight.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll be watching all the games and hoping they win, but it'll be fun to at least have a little. It's been fun for Nebraska fans who continue to sell out home basketball games after winning 10 games. It'll be exciting just to feel like you've gotten kind of competitive. But we can jump on over, obviously, the big one for kind of our show, Hogs and Balls, this past weekend.
Part 2.
Got the revenge we needed, baby.
Yeah, it came about as expected.
Really, it did. That's what I thought.
It was a split.
Yeah, it's tough to beat a team twice.
Home and home split. Each arena showed why it's a tough place to play in. 2 competitive games. Hogs, they just came up quiet.
I thought
this one.
Good Lord. The fact that Arkansas got back into that game was just bad in the first place.
Yeah. So, what Tennessee made, they made 9 out of the first 10 threes. I swear. That was 12, it was unreal. Yeah, they were 9 at 12 at half. That was what they were at half, right?
Yeah, Kennedy Chandler was 4 for 4.
That's why they were up by 21 at half. So Tennessee was up by 21 at half, and then got up even maybe it's 24.
Possibly. Yeah, it got all the way up to 24. But
the Hogs came storming back. I got one gripe. I got no gripes. Tennessee played good, deserved to win. They're a really good team playing at home. I got a gripe with the officials, but not even for missing calls this time. I didn't really see much wrong with the calls, but it was the reviews.
Yeah.
So Arkansas goes on this crazy run to get back, and we're down 2 points. And all of a sudden, within 30 seconds of game time, this is under 2 minutes left in the game. It has been a high-level, competitive, fun basketball game, just punches thrown on each side, a lot of shots made, just a really fun basketball game to watch. And then 3 straight loose balls, they go to the monitor to review each one. And 3 straight times they were right. So they reversed 0 calls. And it took them 12 minutes. It took 12 minutes of airtime to make 3 calls that were already right.
Yeah.
With under 2 minutes to play, it just blew my mind. If I was a casual fan watching that game, I'm so frustrated. If I'm anyway, it's not a good viewing experience. It ruined the flow of the game. Like Arkansas would we have come back? Maybe, maybe not. But like Arkansas was just like on fire at that point. It would have been really nice to keep that momentum going instead of have like a 2 or 3 5-minute long breaks in the action. It was just so frustrating to watch. I get that you want to make the right call. I get that replay is available, but there are certain like if you can't go to the monitor and immediately flip it because you were wrong, then leave it. That's kind of my thought. It's really not even the reviewing them; it's the review time. If we can't make that happen instantaneously, like what's the use? It's just pointless. That's part of sports is refs making mistakes. Let's just kind of accept it.
No, I totally agree, and I'm with you. I don't understand why in 2022 we're having the refs go over to this 25-inch monitor to relook at a play that they saw live on the court. Why do we not have just someone up in a box, like another ref with a giant TV that can see it and immediately before they once they blow the whistle, he's already been watching the replay, seeing what's happening. I don't understand why they're looking at it for like 10 minutes or whatever. None of those were really that hard to tell either. You look at them and you say, okay, yeah, that's the right call. Let me watch it watch it 3 times. Okay. That's still not taking a lot of time, but when you see it and it's correct, I mean, it was driving me crazy too. I was like, this is a waste of time because I don't know. And I see it in football sometimes too, but I'm like, why are we still looking at this play? Anytime you see a play that's going that long, usually it just means someone's going to get screwed. But in this situation, it was just the refs are just sitting there not doing anything. You're just rewatching it for no reason. What are you looking for at that point? It's almost like you're looking way too hard to try and change it. Sometimes it's not that hard to tell. Sometimes you can just
I like 3 angles, 3 looks, and that's it. If you can't change the call in that, because if it's wrong, you're going to see it and you're going to be able to change it. But if you can't tell something was wrong in 3 looks, cut it. That's it. That's what you get. Move on.
I mean, you're at least going to be able to say, actually, wait, let me look at that again. There was no clip I saw that made me want to be like, well, let me see it from another angle. Not even that. None of them were hard calls.
The calls went both ways, and they were right 3 times. That's what almost made it even more just maddening. I was sitting there. I had come back. I was just watching by myself in the living room, and I'm just getting flustered. I don't get frustrated very often, and I'm sitting here just beside myself with these refs for taking 15 minutes to not do anything. To not even change. They didn't change time. They didn't change possession. They didn't change a single thing, which is just a testament to the refs. The refs are actually pretty good. They make the right call a lot of times. We give them a hard time, and it's fun. And they do get caught up. They'll get caught up in big environments. And if you do have a loud home crowd, they will get caught up. Humans. And they'll make some calls. They'll make some tight calls, especially near the end of the game. But that's how it works. That's why home basketball is fun. That's really why your home record is a lot of times better than your regular. But it was a testament to how they were right 3 times in a row and still question themselves. They have no confidence. Where's the confidence? Just be like, no, I was right. It was off Arkansas. Okay, we're going with that. Oh, it just kills me. And that was a big game and a crucial moment, but most of these games aren't the national championship. It might suck to lose, and it might be tough to lose on a controversial call, but it's not going to end your season or nothing. I don't know. We've come to a weird crux in just the evolution of sport with the infiltration of technology and just old-fashioned sport. Used to, you just couldn't question a ref because that was what they were. The refs were the end-all, be-all. But now you can kind of question them because we have great camera angles and we have, crazy technology and stuff. I would like to see in football, I would like to see a tracker in the ball. That seems so easy for first downs and touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like a chip in the ball.
That one seems just no-brainer to me.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
I agree.
What about robot balls and strikes?
I don't know why that's not a thing. Why, what's the point, honestly, in having a behind the plate ump for calling balls and strikes. I don't understand that. We literally have the box painted up on the TV, now, computer generated. Like, we know what's a ball and a strike. Why are we letting this guy have human error?
Yeah. I think
baseball's weird, though. I mean,
it's made it even a lot harder for umps because now people see the balls and strikes.
Yeah.
And
you can tell maybe they'll make the wrong or right call, but now, sometimes an ump will, like, he might be calling them low. Like, he'll be calling strikes low all day, and he'll be like, okay, the batter and everyone can kind of adjust to that. But now you can see, oh, this ump's all over the place. He's not even, staying true to what he's calling. So that hurts too. Trusha, what were you going to say?
Well, I know they also have started. So the bigger national games, the MLB actually tracks strike zones for these umpires, and they get paid more and get kind of on bigger games. The more accurate their strike zone is. So there's some kind of tie into that, which is pretty cool. But I'm kind of halfway on the robot strike zone. I think having umps and that's just part of baseball. You got to have an umpire there. You got to be. I mean, come on, Blue. I was about to say that. Yeah, and then the manager coming out screaming, getting in his face. The mound charges. I mean, all that stuff is fun in baseball. So it keeps you on your toes. Yeah. And it goes both ways. The umpire is calling strikes and balls for both teams. So if they call a little bit tighter, a little bit wider, both teams are getting that advantage/disadvantage. So I kind of like
you assume so. Hopefully,
you'd assume so. Over the course of a 162 game season, probably. But I'm sure there's some scenarios where a manager is pissed off an ump and just kind of unconscious bias.
Yeah,
could get you. But
that's what baseball's funny because the whole replay thing was such a huge argument with baseball traditionalists. They didn't want replay. They didn't want and I'm like, dude, we have actual examples of umps blowing a guy's perfect game because we're like, you stole, like, that ump stole a perfect game from a guy, and you're saying, like, we don't want replay because it's not traditional. That's not how they did it back in the Depression era. Like, why do you not want the correct calls? I never understood that. You still have umps. I get that. If you want to keep that going in the game, that's fine. But why are we saying, you know what? No, we don't want the right call. We don't want to make sure of anything. That was a tough one for me to get my head around.
It's interesting stuff, but kind of getting back to basketball here. What about Coach K losing his final game and at home? That's pretty rough.
Awesome.
UNC gets a big W, and UNC's kind of turned their season around a little bit here at the end of the year. They're 15-5 in the ACC, 23-8. They're not ranked, but certainly that they'll make a little noise in the ACC tournament, and then maybe make a little noise in the NCAA tournament.
They got a good law department.
Yeah.
Shout out Swaff.
Shout out the lawyer. They're peaking at the right time too, right? They look good to me. Obviously at Cameron Indoor, it's a tough place to play, especially in a rivalry game. Coach K's last game, but I just mean the team overall. They looked like they were playing good basketball, so I like it. I do. I enjoyed seeing Coach K lose. I'm not gonna lie. I was never really a big Duke hater, but the last couple of years, for whatever, Coach K's just kind of bothered me.
Well, him just crying about the whole pandemic season.
Yeah.
That really pissed me off.
And some of these coaches, and I've seen it with like Dabo a little bit too. Like, I used to really like Dabo, but these guys, it's like once they, which obviously Coach K's been doing it forever, right? But these guys, once they
40 years,
win a couple championships or get this going, they almost have this sense of entitlement that everything should kind of go their way or nothing's their fault. The whole when they had the interim coach for Duke, and if he lost, it went on his record, but if he won, Coach K got those wins credited to him. Do y'all remember that?
That's
Coach
so
K's
stupid.
So lame.
Yeah,
he's so lame. He's such a self-centered, like.
Yeah, he is.
Coaches don't have tours like this. Like,
so farewell
weird,
tour.
First of all,
trying to shout out Roy Williams. He just retired.
Yeah,
like
one
if
day, you deserve it, people are going to give you your flowers. Like, if Coach K just had randomly one Saturday just been like, hey, I'm retiring, everyone would have just gushed out like, oh my God, like you still would have had your little moment to shine. Instead, you drug it across a whole season, made it disgusting. It was funny. The way it played out was very much karma. Like it was just kind of, first of all, Kansas hitting that, or Kansas, Texas going to overtime. So you like you missed like the, because I'll be honest, I had taken a nap after the Arkansas game and had just kind of gotten up and was like, oh, I'll watch. Like I don't watch a ton of basketball outside of the SEC, to be honest. But I was like, Coach K's last game, like that is pretty historic. Like I'll flip it over there. And I was already a few minutes late. I was like, I probably missed the presentation. Like they're probably already started. And instead, I watched the last like 20 seconds of Kansas, Texas, and then they went to overtime. And so they're just having to have this. Oh, it was just such a funny, like them just having to wait around for their ceremony, and then them making such a big deal about him in his last game. And like all the players were there, and the ticket cost $1 billion to get in. Yeah, because you have 1,000 seats in your arena. Like, of course, ticket prices are high because you're, first of all, Duke. Yeah, you got a lot of like wealthy alumni, and you only have the demand. The supply is so low, so you only have It's not like you can just add in 10,000 folding chairs. Like you're only putting 2,000 people in that gym. That's like all you're putting in. So to brag about ticket prices is like stupid. Like Arkansas or Tennessee has 10 times the number of people that can get into a game.
Yeah.
It's not that low. I'm exaggerating obviously a little bit, but I'm not that much. Like I don't know the official capacity.
2 or 3 times.
It's a lot lower. Like anyway. So and then to lose pretty bad. Like they got kind of manhandled there at the end.
Especially at the end, North Carolina put their foot on the gas and didn't let up.
Oh, so funny. Good riddance, Coach K. Like good for what he's done. I don't know. Has he been good for the game of basketball? Has he been bad? I don't know. I couldn't necessarily say like, Coach K, he's been great for the game of basketball. He's been good for Duke North Carolina rivalry. He's been good for that, and he's been a great coach. Like he's won a lot of basketball games, but I don't know. He strikes. I'm throwing stones at this guy. I've never met him, obviously, and I have nothing really personal against him. In my eyes, he seems to be kind of a fake, like, egotistical leader in my head. Like, some of the stuff he does to seem to be, like, genuine and authentic is really just trying to get the spotlight back on him. Like, at the end of the day, it's all about Coach K, in my eyes. Like, that's kind of how I view a lot of the stuff he does. He likes it to be about him. You have a whole retirement tour, and he kind of says, nope, it's about the team, it's about the team, it's about the team. And it's like, nah, it's not about the team, though. Like, you had a pregame ceremony. You had a postgame ceremony. You had, like, Coach K cam. Like, you had a camera on you the whole time. It's not about the players. Like, and you're not at fault for that, but you're kind of letting that happen. You're letting all the focus be on you for all year.
Yeah, he could push that stuff away. Like if he wanted to, and I feel like a lot of coaches would. They'd be like, no, we don't need to do all this. Or we can do like something small at the end, it was to the nines. Like it was too much.
Yeah. And to say he didn't want all this, like you got to think back all the way. You got to think back all the way to when he announced it, like in June or July, like last summer, he announced and had like a party to announce that he was having a whole season-long farewell tour. Like he literally had a party 6 months before the season started just to announce he was going to be taking this farewell lap around the ACC and the whole thing all year. Like,
you're like celebrating your half birthday.
Yeah. It'd be like making everyone like come by like a fancy dinner. Yeah, to celebrate your half birthday.
Your retirement party. Be like, hey, I'm going to retire next year. Let's have a party, and I'm going to announce it. And then everyone come to my last day at work.
No, it's like, bring me gifts all year, actually.
Yeah.
I'm retiring next year. I want a gift every day. Whatever.
Did y'all – I did see a really funny tweet that I was not aware of, but I feel like it's pretty sure it's pretty factual or pretty reliable. I saw a someone tweet out, would this be a bad time to remind Vandy fans that we turned down Coach K in like 1979 or something? Apparently he was on the list and they chose some random guy over him that ended up, I forget. No, it was before him. It was,
they screwed that up. That's for sure.
But I'm just like, man, how
had
different.
Had Krzyzewski already been at Duke?
No, he was at West Point.
Oh, really?
Like he was in line. Like it was between him and another guy for the Vandy job, and they chose the other guy. And I forget what the guy's name was, but he had a successful
Obviously
career at some smaller school. Well, that's the thing, right? Because if you think about it, Duke and Vandy are essentially like the same kind of university.
Yeah.
The difference is Coach K went to Duke, and you have this basketball history there now.
Yeah,
so
now he wins 5 championships.
Yeah.
If you win 5 championships at Vandy, yeah, that's massive. Like Vandy basketball, actually, with the right coach, and like if they actually had sustained success,
they were solid.
Lit. Like that would actually be fun. Like Memorial Gym is cool. Like
it
started getting packed up, and like they were actually like, if you had a tradition of a good program, like if you had won several national championships.
Well, they would have become Nashville's basketball team too.
Yeah.
Like it would have been the same type of thing. You would have had people just hopping on the bandwagon.
Yeah, absolutely. Which would be cool. But unfortunately not.
I just found
they got Stackhouse now. I kind of like him. He's all right.
He's doing better than I thought he was going to do.
He picked it up from the bootstraps like that. One of those Drew brothers had run it into the ground. Not doing good. But of course, Darius Garland got hurt that one year. That was tough.
Yeah, they've had some kind of unlucky stuff happening, but Tennessee's kind of taking control of the state again. Pippen is a freak.
Pippen Jr. is a beast, but I mean, I assume he's gone after this year, right? He's averaging like 23 points a game or something.
Yeah, isn't he leading the SEC in scoring?
Yeah, I think so. So that'll be. I don't know what's going to happen after that, but it looks like Stackhouse is able to get at least one good guy in there. I mean, like we said, Darius was hurt, but he still got him. So if you can just keep pulling in, kind of some.
It could just turn into like a Memphis Penny Hardaway situation, though, where he keeps pulling in good recruits, but just can't get the job done with the talent.
Think Stackhouse is a better coach, in my opinion. Well, and I just say that because he's doing way better than I thought he was going to do.
He's doing pretty good. I mean, I watched him beat Arkansas.
Well, they got a winning record.
I was pretty impressed. Yeah, winning. I mean, they're at or above 500 in the SEC, or maybe just a game below, but that's pretty good.
Well, because didn't they have like 5 wins a year or two ago?
Yeah, no, they were.
It was not that long ago.
They might have gone winless in the SEC one of those years.
I think they did.
It was bad.
Yeah.
They were bad.
Yeah.
But, hey, Chattanooga, they're on a 13-0 run. They just took the lead.
There we go.
They were down 10.5. They only scored 16. But they're up 28-29 now.
Nice. The mock showing out for the boys. We need it.
Anyway, tournament week now, though. That it's all flipped. SEC tournament will be fun. It's not the end-all, be-all. Like, I'm winning the SEC tournament would be awesome. And I'm not going to say I don't want to win it, but I'm a little more excited for March, true tournament. That's when it really gets serious. But
it's a weird feeling when you're in kind of where Tennessee, Arkansas. I mean, really most of the higher up teams in the SEC, because I don't know if Tennessee wins one game or doesn't win a game. I don't know how much that's going to affect them. I don't think it will, because they have enough quality wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got the quality wins. Now
they're at a 3 seed right now, so maybe they drop to a 4 seed or something, but I think they're staying in the top.
They're probably, unless crazy stuff happens all around them, but
that's the only way, right?
The funny thing is, I literally feel more I bet I don't know if there's better odds. There's not better odds. I would feel almost as confident in Arkansas winning the whole tournament as I would the SEC tournament this weekend.
It's because it's kind of a crapshoot. No, it is.
And you got. I know for a fact I'm going to have to play 2 of either Auburn, Tennessee, and Kentucky. I'm going to have to play 2 of those teams in 3 days. So I think it's literally less likely for me to win 3 straight in 3 days there because Arkansas is probably going to have to go LSU, Auburn, and then winner of Kentucky, Tennessee, should they both get there. So that's actually a gauntlet.
Yeah,
just to win the SEC tournament. And in 3 days, I put our odds just as high, and I think there's 4 teams in the SEC that could say legitimately, I think we can make a deep run in the postseason, kind of back that up. And so it is a little bit different mentality of those teams, I think. So that's why you might see a team, heck, you could see LSU or Alabama or someone get really hot this week and kind of win it. Especially those teams at the top are just, if your eyes are a little more focused, down the road, it's hard to lock in and win those tournament games.
Well, it's like unless you win the tournament or unless you need the tournament, the conference tournament, it's just not. It doesn't really mean a whole lot. If Tennessee wins a game and then loses, I mean, I guess there's the whole. If we play Kentucky and we lose, there's a little bragging rights there or something. But that's about it. Like if you're not going to win the whole thing, and you don't really need to win that many games, it's just not that big of a deal. You care about March.
The ultimate would be getting to the championship and losing. Like if Arkansas loses, bro, I hope we lose. Probably hope we win that first game and lose the second. Like, let's just get on. Like, I don't want to have to play 3 games and then not win the SEC championship.
Right, exactly.
Like if we get to Sunday, no, we're coming for that crown. Like if we get to Sunday, we're winning that championship. But if we don't, it's okay. I'll be all right. Let's go. Let's get ready for madness.
Yeah.
But it'll be fun. It'll be high level basketball. SEC is fun to watch. I wish it was in Nashville. I mean, I think I probably said that before, but Nashville just makes so much sense for the conference. The basketball culture is high there. It's a sweet location. It's so accessible for pretty much everybody, or an easy flight for anybody. It just makes so much sense. Tampa, just kind of dumb.
But I'm really upset about that, honestly.
Yeah. And it happens to be in a year where, like, Arkansas, Auburn, Kentucky, and Tennessee, like, those places literally converge. Really probably more like Memphis because Arkansas is a Western outlier. But the middle of those fan bases is Nashville. Like, that would be sick. It would be loaded. There'd be so many Auburn, Tennessee, and Kentucky and Arkansas fans. It would be so much fun. But Tampa, lame.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Are they not losing money in this, essentially? I would think there'd be so much more revenue coming into Nashville than there would be Tampa.
The city probably. I bet more people, like ticket-wise and stuff, they still sell out all the tickets probably for the tournament.
Yeah.
I bet that's not where the problem is. It's just like, I bet more people come to Nashville and only go to like one game. It's like if you're going to Tampa for the basketball tournament, you're going for the basketball tournament. Like you're not like, hey, let's just go to Nashville for the weekend and catch a game on Saturday or something. You know what I mean? It's like I think the everything surrounding the tournament makes a lot more money in Nashville. I would guess. I don't know. I've never been down to Tampa for the SEC tournament, but I've been to Nashville for it a lot of times, and it is turned up.
It's
a
fun
place to be. But it's fun. I love these. I love the mid-major tournaments. Like I'm excited to watch the end of this Chat Furman game. Like when they're punching their ticket to the dance, like there's nothing like.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Oh, there's nothing like that excitement. Because I mean, they're probably losing in round 1. Like they're probably losing. They'll have a chance, which is why the dance is awesome. They will have a chance. But they're probably losing round 1. Like this moment is just like so sick that they punched the ticket.
Yeah, it's
win the tournament.
For mid-majors like that, especially for ones who aren't consistently in the tournament, getting to the tournament is kind of the peak of your basketball experience. Like I remember when I was at Lipscomb and we went to the tournament that one year and it was crazy, especially because, most of the time it's all these smaller schools no one knows about. Like no one knew what Lipscomb was when I was there, like on a national scale. Because I remember talking to one of my marketing professors about it and how he talked about how much traffic the school's websites and Google searches and all this stuff got just from being in the tournament. And it was a whole big thing, obviously. But I love watching them too because you'll have a team from the A10 or I don't know, like the Big Sky Conference that's 27-3 by the end of the year, and they're playing in their conference tournament, and then they end up losing in the conference championship to some 6-24 team that gets to or maybe not that bad, but a lot of times it is a team with a losing record that'll come in and run the table and win the conference tournament.
Get hot at the right time.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes March so awesome. You have these really true Cinderellas that come out of nowhere and make it in the tournament.
Yeah, we're the other pod we were talking about that Florida Gulf Coast team, Slam City. That just when that's why March is so fun. And I mean, everybody knows that, but that's why I'm getting so excited to see some of those upsets and see what teams are going to sneak in. Hey, maybe the Mocs are a little bit better than we thought, and they end up making a little run. Maybe they are the Cinderella team. We'll have to wait and see. You never know.
Cinderella, if the shoe fits, if the moccasin fits.
God. Well, we got a little bit of kind of Titans news and stuff going on, Will. I know we were talking about it a little bit before. Contract negotiating and signing people this offseason is obviously kind of tied hand in hand. Will, weren't you talking about Harold Landry? What are we going to do in that scenario here? We're going to have to pay him. Big Jeff, we just exercised his 5th-year option. He's making about $10 million, but Landry's looking, wants to make nearly $18 million a year.
He wants to, and will. He wants to, different things.
So I'm not in panic mode about Harold Landry, but I'm in little nervous mode about Harold Landry. I don't want this to get drawn out, and I don't know. I just want to get a deal done because I think Harold Landry is the most underrated pass rusher in the NFL, and I love having him on the Titans. And if you can figure out a way to keep him on the team, please do. And Byard's come out and said he would be willing to restructure his contract. And listen to this. His direct quote was he'd be willing to restructure it like he did when we got Clowney. Okay, if we were going to do that for Jadeveon Clowney, you best do it for a guy who's actually proven that he's going to get you sacks year in and year out.
Yeah.
Who's restructuring these contracts? I want to be the person who restructures contracts.
We have the Titans have like a capologist who's in charge of literally that's all he's in charge of. Yeah, salary cap. And
I'm gonna be
all the scenarios that you
be crunching crazy numbers. I'm paying guys in 3,020, but we're winning Super Bowls now.
That'd be epic.
I'm restructuring Ryan Tannehill's contract for.
We're gonna have a bunch of Bobby Bonillas on the team.
Well, because
the Titans don't even exist as a franchise, and they're still paying all these players.
You have Stillman on the radio still trying to. He's still bumping all the Rodgers rumors or whatever, which I just don't believe in.
Well,
but he was relating the capologist stuff to, okay, technically, like this would work if you traded like Tannehill and Byard and got Rodgers, you could do this, or you'd have this much money to spend. And it's also like, hey, would you do that? And I think a lot of people would, but I'm just so out on that. He's trying to push it. I get it. Like he wants to. I mean, that's something to talk about, I guess, on the radio, but I just don't believe the Titans are even in that discussion, especially from what I've watched of J-Rob and Vrabel at the combine. I don't think that's on the radar.
I don't think so. I think Aaron Rodgers would put them in a bind and put them in a pinch in so many other areas that it would be detrimental to the team, honestly. Would I like them to sign, would I like Aaron Rodgers to be our quarterback? Yes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, yes. But I'm not practically the one trying to piece together a roster because that's what wins you a Super Bowl. Great players can get you. Obviously, look, Aaron Rodgers has won one Super Bowl. That's great, and he would be a great piece. We have a great roster, obviously. He would be a great piece of that, but I just think it's going to put you in so much of a bind, where you can't sign other players. If you get Aaron Rodgers, you're probably not getting Landry. There are guys that you're probably going to miss out on that are really more of the kind of heart and soul of the team. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers, I think he's probably honestly just going to end up re-signing Green Bay. If I had to really guess, I think he's going to take a huge
they're going to give him a ton of money.
Maybe even a 2-year deal or something, just kind of big 2-year deal.
Lock it in
and bounce. It would be cool to have Aaron Rodgers in two-tone blue, but don't think it's happening. If it happens, I'll get hype about it, and I will be really ignorant about the possibilities that could happen, but don't look like it. We're riding with Tannehill. We had a lot of bad taste in the mouth after the postseason. I literally have I've been so down on bad on the Titans since then. I didn't watch. I specifically avoided any Pro Bowl coverage or anything.
Yeah, because Vrabel was coaching,
and it it like literally made me angry that he was there coaching the Pro Bowl when we should have been getting ready for the Super Bowl. Not that it was, I don't fully blame him, but I can't really blame him. Really, unfortunately, all the blame for the Titans' loss does have to go on Tannehill, like straight up. I hate that it has to be that way. I'm not saying he can't.
I put a lot on Downing still.
Yeah, the play calling was horrible.
That is true. I mean, those videos of like the Cincinnati players like
calling out the plays,
what we were going to do, that is indicative of the OC. But still, the OC didn't throw 3 picks.
No, you're right.
Anyway, we'll
we get a really
that's
good
a rabbit hole that's a rabbit hole of pain that we don't need to open up. But it looks like he is going to be our quarterback, and he's earned as much. He's been such a solid starter for us the last couple of years. Like,
I mean, the year before the guy had 30 touchdowns to 7 picks or whatever.
Yeah,
or 40 to 7.
Yeah, he held us together when Henry went out too. He really did hold it down. Like he kept us rolling in the right direction. So that was good. But we'll see. I mean, you got to win in the playoffs. I think they will next year. I actually do. Like, for whatever reason, I have this insane confidence in the Titans that I've never actually had before. I talked about the Titans in like a false bravado, like trying to just will something to happen. Like if I say something and I sound confident, then maybe
it'll happen.
Fake believing it. But now I just feel like they're like we were the better team. Like that, they watched the team that they dominated. We dominated the Bengals on defense. Like
annihilated them.
Yes.
Threw them around, and we watched that team go to the Super Bowl and really
against another team that we kind of dominated as well.
Yes,
on the defensive side.
So I think they'll come back with just a renewed sense of just drive. Like not that they lacked it last year, like they did. They had plenty of will and because that's what separates it in the NFL. Like people that most rosters are good enough. It's like really the teams that care. Like literally, I know it sounds so simple, but it's like the teams that play together and like are a unified team that cares and wants to win. So, and I think the Titans will do that again. They should win the division. And then we'll see if Tannehill can win the playoffs. And if you fail again, like if they win the division, have a home playoff game, and he loses a 3rd straight home playoff game, it's
time to move on.
It's curtains. Because all hell will break loose on. Like he'll never be able to. I mean, unless he threw 5 touchdowns and somehow he lost a crazy.
Right. Yeah.
But we're riding with him next year, so
yeah,
better like it.
So they did talk about. I think Vrabel and J-Rob are looking at taking kind of one of those quarterbacks at a value pick. Kind of because a lot of these quarterbacks, right, will be available probably in the 3rd or 4th round. And a guy they were talking about. I don't know if they specifically said it, but from what I heard, they were looking a lot at Desmond Ridder, which
I like Des. I was gonna say him. He's the only one I might like out of the whole bunch.
Really? Okay. I'm indifferent because I don't know. That guy to me just doesn't ever. I mean, none of them really do, but he doesn't necessarily scream NFL starter to me. But at least he's one of the more athletic guys in the class, obviously. So, I mean, I think he ran a 4.4 or something, 40, which is nice, right? But at the end of the day, that's not all you're looking for. So, but yeah, how do y'all feel about that if we were to take a guy like him? I think Carson Strong was actually another one J-Rob specifically mentioned.
I'd be fine with it.
He's more like cinder block feet out of Nevada. Like he's just going to pure passer.
How old is Tannehill? 32, 33?
He's old. He's pretty old.
He's got a couple of good years left in him, but I mean, it'd be nice to get in a QB, have him kind of back Tannehill up for 2 years, and then Tannehill, once we're done with him, kick him to the curb and get either Ridder or Strong in there and moving. But real quickly, I wanted to add, since we were talking about 40 times, what about Velus Jones Jr. out of Tennessee running the 4.31, baby? Let's go.
It's moving.
He's a guy I wouldn't mind if the Titans picked him.
No, and he was tweeting at the Titans too.
Yeah, he wants to stay in Tennessee. I was actually at a church in Norris, Tennessee a few weeks ago, and Velus was there up front talking.
Oh yeah, draft him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, draft him. He was
round
excited.
Plan.
Yeah. So I was like,
That's
let's
awesome.
get him to stay home.
He probably did make some money. That's a cool thing about the combine. Like,
I bet he really did.
Is it all it's cracked up to be? Like, I don't know. I kind of lean more to like what they've actually done on field production through several years in college. But for a guy like Jones, who doesn't have
huge.
the longest college, like what did
he didn't really come onto the scene till the last 2 years, and I'd say really this year.
Really the last year.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, for a guy like that didn't have quite the same like exposure as some, just because he didn't have the longevity. He didn't have 3 full years of stuff. Like running a crazy good time like that is a great opportunity to kind of boost you up, because going from a potential 6th, 7th undrafted kind of range, I don't know, he may have been higher graded than that before, but like jumping up, if you could jump 2 rounds based on how fast you ran, that's massive. It's massive.
I'd say, well, and it's those numbers like 4.4s, all that good numbers, 4.5 good number. When you start getting into 4.3s, especially low 4.3s, I feel like that's kind of almost kind of a lottery ticket a little bit. Because immediately someone's going to say, oh, this guy, you see that 3 right there after the period, people start paying attention to that. So, and so something funny Velus mentioned in one of his either Senior Bowl or Combine interviews, this was the first year in his football career that he ever returned punts. And he was awesome at it, obviously, for Tennessee.
Could be a special teams guy.
So kind of going back to, Seth, what you were saying, a guy who kind of comes on the scene late, 1 year of really showcasing his abilities. Yeah, this is a big deal. So he's the guy I would really like to see the Titans get a burner, just one of those guys who runs a 4.3 40 to come and play receiver for us.
It'd be awesome. Dude, to pair that with AJ would be just so sick.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for wide receiver first round, because I think there's a lot of wide receiver talent. So you're going to get a really high level receiver there, even late first round. Like, you're going to get a top tier guy. So adding that with AJ would just be nice. I think you can fill other spots like later. Like, I don't want a 4th round wide receiver. I want another 1st round wide receiver talent on the field. I can probably make do with a third round offensive lineman. Like,
well, but it's also, I mean, a guy like, if we did want to go after a guy like Velus, that is a guy you could get there at, I think you have number 90, around there in the 3rd round.
Yeah. Why not get them both?
Yeah.
Why not have a chance to get a true another, just solidify your receiving core. Obviously, that's an area of weakness on the Titans. Like, we let it slide a little bit because AJ Brown is a beast, and we do have Julio Jones, but I mean, Julio didn't really produce that much last year.
It's AJ Brown and role players.
We just have, which, I mean, they did a good job. Like, I like Nick Westbrook-Kina. Like, he's decent. He makes a few plays, but like,
he shouldn't be our number 3 receiver now. I mean,
we should at least have someone else who's a true.
We should have had who Josh Reynolds basically should have been.
Oh yeah,
except he quit on the team. He didn't want to play special teams. He didn't want to fit in the scheme that we had him for and everything.
Well,
so
good riddance. If you don't want to be here, that's what. Hey, this is my theory on the transfer portal in college and everything. It's like, look, I want you here. I want you to be a Razorback. I want you to be, Titan, whatever. But if you're not one of us, like, if you don't want to be here, do not leave.
Yeah, leave.
We are better off with you gone than you here and not all into this organization's program, whatever. So,
yep.
But it's exciting. That's probably coming up pretty soon. What's that, April? So,
yeah.
It'll be right after March, basically.
Who's going to be wearing that two-tone blue? We need another draft like the one that when they got AJ, Nate Davis, David Long. Like, what year was that when they got they literally hit
that was
on
2019.
They hit on 5 out of 6 guys. Like, think about the Titans are really good right now, and we're the 1 seed in the AFC, and they've kind of botched some of their last couple first round drafts.
Especially, first rounds. We've been great in the second round.
Obviously, the Panda was a total bust.
Yeah, that's kind of from COVID, I feel like. It's because it was all Zoom interviews and Zoom meetings. You don't get a full pulse. That one sucked.
That's tough. I credit Sam Pittman for even making that guy into a first round level draft pick.
Yeah.
Because obviously when he got out of his coaching, like he just went off. So maybe he should have helped the Titans out by being like, look, this guy's kind of a head case. Don't draft him. But also, I'm going to spin zone it in a positive way that under Sam Pittman's tutelage, this guy was a beast and, graded out as a first-round player. But then he left Sam Pittman and went off the deep end.
Yeah.
So that's my spin zone.
Sam Pittman's the key.
Yep, he is. He's about to get a new contract, too. We'll see how much he gets paid.
He deserves it.
He does, dude. He deserves everything. He revived our program from the dead. It's like a defibrillator to our program. Or like he's like Frankenstein, like building the monster. He's like, he just had to go he truly had to go in the lab, rebuild the program how he wanted to, and revive it and bring it back to life. Hogs are going to have a really good year next year, and we're going to probably have a Heisman winning quarterback. We probably will win the West. I don't know. If we win the West, we'll probably win the national championship.
That would be
quite the coaching.
If Arkansas wins the West, the Vols will see you there in the championship.
You almost beat Bama last year. So
that's what I'm saying. And now we got Bama at home, LSU at home. We switch off with Georgia. We played Georgia the last 2 years, bro. That's a beatdown. Like, I know you guys play them every year, but we got to play Auburn, Alabama, Auburn, Alabama, LSU, A&M. Dude, the SEC is just a beast. It's just a beast.
Yeah, but I will say the West this year isn't going to be quite as bad. It'll be, I don't know what it's going to look like if Oklahoma and Texas get in or
that. I don't think they'll be in this season.
It doesn't look like it. I feel like you would have to have that. It would need to be kind of
they would already need to know that right now.
Yeah. And maybe they do.
Yeah, Ole Miss is going to take a step back, I believe, for sure.
I think, it's going to be Bama, but then, Auburn's not going to be good. LSU's going to be okay. A&M might be okay. I don't know. Like, you don't have anyone.
That's what I'm saying. Why not Arkansas, man? It's kind of our year to slide in there, and we're the one with the experienced quarterback. We led the league in rushing last year.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get better in year 3 with Sam Pittman. That was year 2 with Sam Pittman. We already led the league in rushing. So year 3, you got an experienced quarterback. Like, KJ is beast. Like, he is probably the best quarterback I've seen at Arkansas. Mallett was amazing at Arkansas. He was a great college quarterback, but I don't know. KJ's probably the best one.
KJ's making noise. Him or Hooker is going to be are going to be the best quarterback in the SEC.
Hooker's probably a more passer friendly system, and he'll put up bigger numbers and stuff. But KJ's just a winning games quarterback, on the ground. Whatever you need, just hop on KJ.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. He does have those Cam Newton moments where it's we really need a drive, and it's just screw it. It's his
just
ball.
Just give me the ball. Yeah.
Yeah, it's his ball. And you get out of the way, which is a test. Not everybody has that. So it'll be fun. We'll have a good defense. We got our home schedule's insane. So we open up the season with Cincinnati at home. So literally right off the playoff appearance, you got Cincy at home. Then week 2 is South Carolina at home. So we don't have any kind of, no easing into this year's schedule. We play at BYU, which will be crazy.
Yeah.
I'm going to that. I'm going to Provo.
That can be tough.
Anyway, it'll be a fun year. Always ready for football. Oh, always.
Dude, spring practice getting going and everything after winter conditioning. I'm already ready for it.
Ready.
It's already March. This year has started to fly by. So honestly, I'm getting less and less worried.
Yeah,
football's it's coming. It's right around
the next month will fly by because you got SEC tournament this weekend, then 3 straight weekends of basketball.
Yeah, March will fly by with college basketball,
and then you got
Masters
spring, and it's nice outside, and you got Masters, and college baseball, and then it's summer, and you're just booling, and then it's fall, it's football. Really
summer hits and you're kind of just all right, we're just kind of riding this out. We're just hanging, and then it'll be football season.
Yeah.
Really, once it hits into July, it's kind of football season.
It's always, we live in.
It's always football season. And football's year round for me.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm paying attention to the football team every day as right now, like I'm watching Nebraska's putting up hype videos of them practicing, and I watch every single one like it's a highlight video.
I'm telling you, man, the Huskers, it's time for them to be up. I'm a long suffering savant here in football. I've watched teams lose, and I just have a feeling. I just have this gut feeling, and right now my tides inside, all the things inside of me say Nebraska's coming. It's a big red wave of Huskers.
I hope so, dude. All it comes down to is that first game in Ireland, week 0 against Northwestern.
Don't worry, man. Luck of the Irish.
Dude, I kind of want to go to that.
That would be a sick game to go to.
It would be sick, but
that might be the sickest game.
I don't know if I could just drop thousands of dollars
just to
go to
get
that.
there would be expensive.
Yeah.
But
I would like to go though.
We do have football starting in April. You guys know that, right? Yeah, the USFL.
Oh, USFL.
They released the week 1 matchups. So the Houston Gamblers are going up to Michigan. They go play the Panthers. The Philly Stars are playing the New Orleans Breakers. Yeah, Jeff Fisher. Yep, Michigan Panthers.
Right?
So I'm definitely watching that game to see Jeff Fisher's debut. That's going to be awesome.
See if the Panthers kick like 7 field goals their first game out.
I mean, I'd believe it. I'd believe it. You know they're gonna. I don't even know how many games are in this USFL league, but Jeff Fisher's going 500.
Holding it down.
But yeah, so a lot of stuff to look forward to. Definitely next week.
Big March Madness preview next week. Full spread. We're gonna have guests
and
with some insider information.
Ryan Shumpert, insider info. Little sneak peek here for the listeners.
You're gonna have the boss man Bean on with his. No one has more love and insider info for March Madness than Boss and
Boss Man.
Talk it.
Yep. Hey, that's what we do. We do half the show with Shump, half the show with Vinny.
I like that. Let's do it.
Yeah, give them each like half an hour or something. See what they got.
See what they got to say.
Yeah. Bring your brackets next week, boys.
Oh boy. Yeah, I can't wait to write up my bracket.
Oh, I love writing out my bracket. It's so fun. And I'll just go ahead and say it. I'm gonna pick the Hogs to win again. Like I picked last year, they were 3 seed, and I picked them to win. If the Hogs are in the tournament, I'm probably gonna think they're gonna win. And like
the Hogs had a real chance last year. I watched that game with you against was it Baylor? And the Hogs could have won that game.
Yeah, we legitimately made it close. But I'm gonna be wrong. Like my thing about it is I'm probably gonna be wrong, like regardless, no matter if I've picked the safest bet ever. Like I've picked Kentucky when they were overall number 1, and I was wrong. And I never get it right anyway. Like, might as well bet with the Hogs. Like, they got a fighting chance. They got a good team this year. Like, they got a superstar that can make plays, like, down the stretch. Might as well. Like, if I was a Tennessee fan, I'd probably say the same thing. Like, I might as like they're going to be a 3 seed. Like, 3 seeds.
I mean, I'll look at it if I like the matchup as it goes along. I'm going to keep picking them. That's just how it goes.
I'm going to keep picking them. That's exactly right. Like
I've done that before. I picked Tennessee to win it all before because I look at even when they weren't. I mean, I'm talking about years ago in the Pearl era when
I picked Tennessee to win.
They were good, but
I picked Schofield and Admiral. That's the same person.
Grant and Admiral.
Yeah, when they had Grant and Admiral,
and
I picked them to win. Yeah, but they didn't quite take it home. That team was so good, dude. That team should have.
That team should have gone.
Should have at least made
farther.
Like Final Four.
Yeah. That was the year they kind of got screwed. They got screwed against Purdue. The year before they lost to Loyola Chicago. Like those were 2 kind of prime opportunities for them to
make a run. They let them slip through their fingers. That's kind of Barnes. At the end of the day, that's Barnes' reputation. Like both
so far. Yeah.
Yeah. And that doesn't make him a bad coach. I mean, it really doesn't. He just hasn't won those games. Like, and those were 2 prime opportunities with great teams to make good runs. Because that's what March is tough because you got to get there consistently and you got to it's not going to happen you're going to fall. It's just so hard to win in March because it is just right on the edge. All the teams are good. They belong there. They want to win so bad. but you are presented with some opportunities, and if you miss those, it's toast. Like if you miss, it's just hard to get back to that level. And that Purdue game that Tennessee had, that was a crazy game. It really was. But that was that was in the Sweet 16, right?
Yeah.
That was to go to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
That's to go to the Elite Eight is a tough one. Because that means you got to win that second
weekend game.
Yeah.
Elite Eight to me is kind of the I don't know. That's kind of the upper echelon of the tournament. Like it's cool making the Sweet 16, but once you crack into that Elite Eight, it's like, oh shoot, we're like really here.
Yeah,
like we really
Sweet
made it.
16's like legit. It's like if you make the Sweet 16, it's like, well, we made this. Like Sweet 16's chill.
It's something you can put up. You can put up a little plaque for
especially
it.
for most teams. Like unless you're truly like a number 1 seed or something, you can't be too upset like losing the Sweet 16.
Right.
Because someone had to win 2 games in the tournament just to get there. Like that means they're a good team. Anyone that's in the Sweet 16 is like worthy of being there at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, going to Elite Eight is something different because that means you had a whole week to prepare for that Sweet 16 game and like reset, and then you still came out and beat that next team. I mean, the Final Four, like going through 2 weekends in a row, that's what is truly like next level. That Final Four appearance.
I mean, you like almost hang a banner for a Final Four.
I mean,
people do.
Final Four,
people do. So
yeah, or it's at least a number up in the rafters. Probably hang a banner. Arkansas has some Final Four banners.
I mean, Tennessee's got some NIT ones they got to get rid of.
Tennessee ain't never made the Final Four, bro. That is sad.
We're a bucket away.
Why not this year? Why not?
Why not us? I want it.
Might as well. Someone's got to get hot. Like someone's got to get hot, and someone's got to win games. Like Tennessee's good, Arkansas's good. Why not them? They got good star players. They're good fundamental defensive teams that do a lot of things really well. Why not? Why not win a few games?
Yeah.
Win that first one.
You're gonna be a 3 seed. You're gonna be high up there. You're gonna have an easier road.
You should win. You should get through that first weekend. Like you should. If you're a 3 seed, Arkansas, like four is maybe a little bit different, but still, the way Arkansas is playing right now, like they're even better than a 4 in my like playing a 5 seed. I don't know. I think we'll be better than most 5 seeds in the second game.
Well, and that's what wasn't Tennessee a 5 seed last year, the kind of deadly 5 seed.
I think so. Yeah, that sounds right.
Who did Tennessee?
Lost to Oregon State.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Oregon State got hot.
Tennessee kind of all the recent few years has just lost to teams that got really hot. Purdue, Loyola Chicago. Oregon State. Had been tough draws for Tennessee, but people are saying
is a good year. Maybe this is
it's either going to be Texas or Memphis. The winner of that game is what most people are, or a lot of people are predicting. Nice. Like that. So we'll see.
Yeah, it'll be fun regardless. Try to win them. Oh, we got 1 point game. Chat's up by 1 with a minute left.
Oh,
Herman's got the ball. Full shot clock.
Waiting for an update.
Yeah, I don't want to go away now. I was about to close it out, but I feel like we can't just leave the listeners hanging.
Oh, missed the 3. Chat ball. 45 seconds left. They don't have to foul. Oh, they're gonna call a timeout. So.
Okay, I think I'll close it out then, because knowing this,
let's
it'll be
end
another
it
10
thinking
minutes.
that Chattanooga has punched their ticket to the big dance.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I might pick them in the first game.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Keep it in the state.
So Colin.
All right, boys. Well, it's been real. Guys, don't forget, check us out on social media. Twitter at paydirt_sports, Instagram at paydirtsports. Check out the website, paydirtsports.blog. Be sure to go onto Six Pack Coverage website, sixpackcoverage.com. Food, fitness, travel, sports, entertainment, anything you need. Go check them out. Guys, thanks again for listening, and we will see y'all next week.
Pay Dirt out.